Hello for anyone who is watching this on a playback. Hi, um, I'm Sarah, and this is a place for people who are deconstructing their faith or questioning their faith and looking for a place to connect, to find other people in a similar position. So I usually just kind of go by reading the comments and answering questions that way. So if you are, again, if you're going to watch it later, I think there should be a way to turn on the comments so that at least it makes sense, so that you can see what it is that I'm responding to. Hey, Chip, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. I did subscriber only mode just right away today. I was not in the mood to handle any nonsense. Hi, Raving. Hello, Cindy. It's good to see you. Almost Friday. Yeah. Yeah, what a week. Hi, Katie. It's good to see you. Ruby says hello as well. Yeah, she says hi. Oops. This little stand that I have my thing on is literally like full of candy wrappers right now. Oh, Chip, I'm so sorry. Ugh, that's so hard. Hi, tired. How am I? I am tired. Yeah, I'm tired. Well, for anyone who's new, just a quick background. I grew up Protestant Christian, and I now consider myself an agnostic atheist. So I don't believe in God, but open to evidence. Hey, Dr. Joe, good to see you. I just started. You didn't miss much. Will you be posting more of your TikTok debates to YouTube? I think I will. That went well. Like, it seemed like people wanted to watch. Okay, I'm back. Oh, my app hates me. I'm gonna have to just move over to my computer at some point. But yes, I will be posting more of my TikTok debates. Hi, Herman. Oh, wow. In the Assemblies of God? Yeah, that's an intense one for sure. Well, you're so welcome, Katie. I look forward to it too, honestly. I really genuinely enjoy the community, Like it's even though there's like trolls and stuff, there's also so many lovely, kind people. I really like that. Thanks, Yanni. Hi, Eve. Is it just me, or is there a lot of debate type channels popping up everywhere? It makes me really hopeful. I don't know, because I have such a biased sample. Like, my algorithm is set that way, so I have no idea if it's more than normal. Hi, Tom. Hey, 11. It's such a chill chat if I start right away with subscriber only. Chris says, hey, how have you replaced an in-person church community? So what I would say is that I formed several other smaller communities. Like I don't have one community that replaced all of it. So I have several smaller ones. So like my neighborhood, my neighbors are actually really wonderful. I have a community in my neighborhood. I have a community at work. I have a community with my friends. I'm part of a running community, and so it's like pieces in different places. Oh, okay. Chip says it's definitely something new. There have been anti-apologetic channels for years, but the numbers of debate channels is skyrocketing. Interesting. Hi from New Zealand. Do Christians claim the Abrahamic God has justified true belief he is the only God? Can you rephrase that question? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Am I doing any more collabs soon? I feel like maybe I'm going back on the line with Justin this month. I don't actually remember. I'm sure Justin will remind me. Hello from the UK. Oh, Dr. Joe's, my tea tonight is chamomile turmeric. Mine is elderberry lavender. It was like stress relief tea. In the past, you said people can't control what they believe. What led you to this conclusion? My own personal experience and also neuroscience and psychology. Charles. You know what? I have seen people. I mean, I know you're kidding, but people do that for. There's some like, I don't remember if it's supposed to be like Chinese traditional medicine or some other reason. But like they boil an onion and have like onion tea. Loki says, "What about the Catholic Church? What about it? What are you asking about it?" Yeah, you know, Captain, I feel that way about social media too. Like it can be so detrimental, but at the same time, it really fosters a lot of connection too. I dabbled in neuroscience. So yes, I have dabbled in neuroscience. Shu, are you asking about their God's belief, or are you asking about do they believe their God is the one true God? Are they true to God's word? I don't know. No, Dr. Joe, I haven't. Jack, I have no problem if you believe in Jesus. That's fine. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. What kind of tea? It is elderberry, lavender, lemon. I think some combination of those flavors. Okay, well, that's great, Jack. I'm happy for you. Hi, Info. The Bears. I can offer you a almost polar bear. She's sort of polar berry-ish. Oh, I'm not sure, Shu. Oh, well, thanks, Forge. If the data is similar, why do we come to different conclusions? Just in general, because we're not all the same. Christopher, why do you think the church hurt me? Hector says, born and raised a Pentecostal Christian, deconstructing has been tough, given my family are still firm believers. I'm new to your channel, but thanks for doing what you do. You're so welcome, and welcome, Hector. If you're not already familiar, all day today, I've just not been able to think of words. My brain is dying. The organization Recovering from Religion. I would definitely recommend that organization. They have support groups, just as another place to make some connections. So Christopher says, because that's the reason most people leave. Christopher, I'll tell you, you don't have enough data to make that conclusion. You have not personally known enough people to have a big enough sample to really understand why most people left. And so coming on here and just assuming that, it just isn't helpful. Like you're not going to get your point across well. It would be much better to ask, like be curious, not judgmental, as Ted Lasso says. Oh my gosh, why can't I think of any words today? Sheesh. Do I think Moses existed? Probably not. Hey, Duck. It actually was the first church hurt of the night. Dr. Joe in the house. So I grew up Protestant Christian, and that's what I was. A few different flavors of Protestant, but Protestant. Yeah, Ted Lasso is a great show. Aaron, hi, says Bart Ehrman started my conversion. Yeah, he's really awesome. You're uninformed on their beliefs. Protestants? Oh, okay. Hi from Kerala. I don't know where that is. I do have a rabbit cup. Yes, indeed. Hey Lloyd, we're just kind of hanging out tonight. I didn't pick a particularly, I don't know, spicy topic. I don't know. I'm not in the mood to be yelled at tonight. Were you a believer while studying in college? How did you reconcile science and belief? Yes, and I was actually a believer until halfway through my PhD program too. So I think I was just able to compartmentalize a lot of it, um, and just sort of explain things away by, well, God can just do miracles. So like, this is how science works, but this is how God works. A bingo card would be fun. Hmm. Move the Stars says, learning how the Bible came together helped me start my mom deconstructing. Now she's out of the LDS church. They don't know yet. They don't know they're out of the church? Hi, Ammon. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Ammon says, first time seeing you live. Great to see you on other channels also. You remind me of Tracy from the Atheist Experience. Keep it up. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Christopher, you got to stop making generalizations about people you don't know. Saying most every major scientist in true honesty knows there's a higher power. You have no way to know if that's true or not. Beach Bum says, I'm a Christian, but Lee Strobel's case for faith is a very shallow, old-style apologetics. Lacks sophistication, and the book is designed for Christians with simple thinking. Yeah, I mean, he certainly does not make any robust arguments, and it is clearly designed for people who already hold those beliefs, to make people feel more comfortable in their existing beliefs. It is not convincing to a non-believer, for sure. Did you leave Christ, Protestantism, and religion all for the same reason? Yeah, the whole thing kind of collapsed all at once for me. Herman says, it's so crazy how we can compartmentalize two competing things. When I was a physics major, I never even thought about God. God was for the temple, not school or even friends. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Hi, John. Oh, I see. Move. Got it. They being the church. That's fair. Should we try to get people to start deconstructing, especially spouses? My position, and this is just my position, so, obviously form your own opinion. My opinion is no. I don't think it's something someone's going to do until they're ready anyway. Like, I don't think it's something you can start for someone. I think we can be supportive, and we can still point out contradictions when appropriate, that kind of thing. But I don't think intentionally trying to get someone to deconstruct is ever really going to be a good strategy. But that's just my opinion. Hi, Brent. Yeah, John says, I think it's better to help people learn how to think critically without attacking their beliefs. Yeah, certainly. I mean, learning what is a fallacy, how do we assess ancient documents? I mean, that can be something that feels a lot more neutral. What do you think about people that say they're not atheists but say they're agnostic? Would you agree everyone is either theist or atheist? Uh, I don't think I would agree with that. Like, I think there really are people who say, I just don't know. Maybe there's a God, maybe there's not. I have no idea. I mean, I think that is a legitimate place to be. Hector says, leaving religion has made me more empathetic, a better husband, better father, better friend, and I've been sober for 2.5 years. Best decision of my life. Congratulations, Hector. That's incredible. That is hard. Chris says, yeah, it's hard when you have to let your kids still go to church to appease your spouse. It's a difficult position to be in. Yeah. Do you think humans make decisions and then try to justify them, or is it the opposite? Because a voice inside me keeps telling me I did the former simply because I hated the boring Christian life. That's a complicated question. I mean, it depends to a lot of that. So I don't think I can give you a simple yes or no answer to that. There might be lots of reasons why you look back on things and see it differently than you did before, but that doesn't necessarily mean your view is accurate. Seal says, I have tried to point out contradictions, etc., in the Bible to my husband, who's been a Baptist his entire life. And he said he acknowledges them, but will never leave Christianity. Yeah. I mean, belief, especially religious belief, religious belief is never simply about information. It's not just a list of facts. So that really doesn't surprise me. If I pointed out a contradiction to 10 Christians on the street, especially 10 devout Christians, I don't think I would change any of their minds. Move says, the first thing that made me start questioning as a child in church was when I learned that God is a jealous God. How is he supposed to be love? But love is not jealous. Brent says, the English biologist Thomas Henry Huxley, agnostic. It simply means a man shall not say he knows or believes that which has no scientific grounds for professing to know or believe. Well, yeah, that makes sense to me. Well, thanks, Hope. He says, go through the Bible, and whenever God commands something vile, ask yourself if you would obey for heaven or disobey for hell. I choose hell every time. I am not so weak as to lower my standards to his. Ooh. It's a powerful way to look at that. No Cakewalk says, sorry if this is too personal, but do you feel you've reconstructed your worldview to something satisfying in the sense you don't feel adrift or nihilistic? Yes. I mean, I do not feel adrift. I feel my life has meaning to me. My life has meaning to the people in my life. And I derive meaning and purpose from my life. I know who I am and what my core values are. So yeah, I would say I've arrived somewhere satisfying. Beachbum asked, did you ever consider the conditional view of hell, or did you always just accept eternal conscious torment? Would a conditional view have changed your thoughts on hell at all? So I think had I grown up with like annihilation or even universalism, and that had been my impression, I probably would have stayed a Christian a lot longer. The problem is that for me, like when one piece of it fell apart, the whole thing fell apart. And what I mean by that is like I never thought hell was a good thing, but it was like, okay, it's in this text, and like I know this text is true. The Bible is 100% true. Like that was just, I knew that, right? And so when I started questioning hell, it very quickly led to me questioning, well, why do I think the Bible is true? Like, how did I arrive at that conclusion that the Bible is true? And the Bible was my only source to the supernatural. Like, my Bible was how I accessed God. That's how I knew there was a God, right? That's how God speaks to you, through the Bible. But if I can't trust the Bible, then how do I know if any of this is real? How am I supposed to look at the Bible and think some of it's real, but some of it isn't? Um, and so I think that's why the whole thing just kind of collapsed for me. Hi, Minnie. Aaron says, leaving religion was one of my most painful experiences. Yeah, I believe you. It's There's a lot of grief and loneliness, anger. It's very disorienting. He says only Sith deal in absolutes. Beach Bum, when you say conditional view, does that mean like you just stay in hell for a little while, or does that mean more annihilationism? There's a rabbit on my mug. Yeah. It's okay, Brent. Um, Phone says, what was the specific cause to lose trust in the Bible? It wasn't ever just one thing. Like I can't point to one moment. It was cumulative. Hi, Gary. It means you would only experience pain, suffering for the time it took you to be destroyed and die. Okay. I mean, that's a little better. Fox says, for me, it was the firmament. Interesting. I'm guessing then you had previously believed the Bible to be very literally true. Hello from India. What did you get your PhD in? Human physiology. Tom, that is so hard. I would definitely recommend the organization Recovering from Religion, just to connect to some other people who might be in the same boat. Yeah, Judas does die 2 different ways. Do you believe Jesus was a true historical figure? I would say probably. It seems at least reasonable. HE says, in Christian high school, we had a class on the dangers of secular humanism, and I kept thinking, this sounds fucking awesome. Seattle says, oh, is this only for former Christians? It is geared towards former Christians. Other people are welcome to be here. We just ask that you not use the space to like preach or try to convert others. Lloyd says, I found a profound faith. I donated my hair to sing in the church choir. I went door knocking to spread the gospel. I started questioning because God condones slavery. Losing heaven cost me my job. Yeah. It's so frustrating, I think, when Christians accuse us of like wanting to leave Christianity because we thought Christianity was too hard or we were quitters. But the reality is that this is the hard way. Staying a Christian would have been the easy way. Sounds good, Seattle. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, so BD says, I'm curious of your history as a Christian and leaving the faith. So I have an FAQ playlist, and I think it's the first video. One of the first videos is like titled Why I Don't Believe in God or something like that. So I have a video that has my whole backstory. Herman says, I was a former Sikh. I have no hatred for Sikhism or anything, just hard to believe in something I can't justify. I think you're the first. Do you say Sikh rather than Sikh? I think you're the first former Sikh to come into my chat, actually. Okay, right. Sikh, not Sikh. Got it. Cool. Thank you. Casilla says, it is understood that Judas didn't die two different ways. The accounts are one, the hanging first and then the falling. So I think this is a pretty, I've heard this sort of justification for contradictions. And basically the argument is, well, it's not like the first account said he died this way and didn't die the other way. It just didn't say, so it still could be true. It's a wild way to read the text. I mean, I've heard someone do that with the resurrection story. Like it said that, Peter was first, or the women were first, or there was one angel. No, there were two angels. And the argument was like, well, one of them said there was one angel, but it didn't say that there wasn't another angel. So he was just talking about the first angel. Like, all right, then we just can't trust the text at all. Is Justin as awesome in person as he is online? Yes. He is exactly the same. Like Justin is not one for pretense. What do you think about people who choose to believe but understand they can't force others? I would argue they aren't even able to choose to believe. Do you think most ex-Christians actually knew, believed, and followed strictly true Christianity according to the Bible? So I think most ex-Christians truly believed and truly followed what they thought was true. This idea that there is one strictly true Christianity according to the Bible isn't reality. Um, every Christian thinks that they are right. And they say, no, we're biblical. Every Christian says that. So, this idea that you personally have the one strictly true interpretation, just it doesn't jive with reality. Which worldview better explains reality as we experience? One where God exists, or one when everything is the result of chance and impersonal forces, and why? The second, unless you want to posit that God created things and has left them completely alone for billions of years. Um, it's interesting how often Christians will say, look around you, look at the trees. How can you not see God? But when I look around, I see a universe that is impersonal, that is hostile, that does not support life, that has tons of empty space, um, does not inherently serve a purpose. You know, we are a teeny tiny speck in the vastness of the universe. I see a world where even our planet is very beautiful and very deadly. It is cold and impersonal. And I would not look at the world around me and see a loving God. Hey, Cal. Thanks, Yanni. Oh my gosh, Brenta, same. Um, John says, I'm a pretty cool speck in the universe. Indeed, you are. If God created the world, why would there be natural disasters? Well, the Christian answer is sin, but I think that that's a bad answer. Kaisela says, so if you were to say, I spoke with mom today, but your dad was present but not speaking, are you untrustworthy now? If I said, hey, I went home last night and I just talked to my mom was there. Um, and I didn't mention my dad at all. I talked about what I did. There was no mention of him. And then someone else said, I went to your house and your mom and dad were there. You would say, that's weird. Why didn't you mention your dad? I don't know. That was maybe a bad metaphor. Maybe I can think of a better one. Or like you go to meet friends out for drinks and you only talk about one friend and you said, look, I went and I saw Mary and Mary and I hung out all night. I had a great time with Mary. Most people would reasonably assume you only hung out with Mary. It would be weird if there was a person there. Or wait, this is even better. I'm formulating this metaphor in my mind as I go. If you said, I'm going to go meet one person, I'm going to go out and meet one person, and you come back home and you said, I only saw one person. And in fact, you saw two people. Yes, I think that's a better metaphor. Ugh, sorry, that was rough. Hi, Ekta. Hello, Prestige. Beach Bum says, I don't understand why Christians take such an uncompromising position on the infallibility of the Bible. The fact is, human beings were involved with writing it down. To think it's perfect is wild. Yeah, I think this is such a big difference between Protestantism and the Catholic and the Orthodox. Like in Protestantism, the only direct connection you have to God is the Bible. There's nothing else. And if the Bible isn't perfect, then how do you know which parts of it to trust? I mean, I agree though, like trying to believe that it's perfect, it falls apart pretty quick. So it's not a good road to go down, but that's how we get there. Do you think if someone seeks the negative about life, God, or our world, they will find it? Is it a possibility to look at the polar opposite of this and find the good? So you're saying I should not look at what the world is and instead just think of the good parts and attribute those good parts to God? I mean, I actually don't think that that's negative. Like when I see what the world is and what the universe is, you're asking me to infer, does it make sense that a God created this? And I don't think it does make sense, but it's not a bad thing. Like I find lots of joy in the world. I find lots of beauty and love in the world. So I don't think my perspective is inherently negative or like trying to find the bad things. I actually think I'm pretty good at finding the good things. Were you Catholic or Protestant or Orthodox? I was Protestant. Hey, Ekta. Well, thanks for coming in. That was a weird one. No, Gianni, leaving faith is not like that. Oh, from Orcas Island. Wonderful. So, Casellas, I think the better analogy is if I said, hey, I only hung out with one person, but there were two people there. That would be weird. What is that, Noah's Lion? The holy kiss? I don't know what that means. Hey, Anna. Famous says, I never felt at home while in church. Yeah. Hello from Scotland. St. Calamus. Do you know anything about the difference between the NRSV and NRSVUE? I don't know, unfortunately. Justin will know. He would be the one to answer that. Oh, well, thanks, Brent. I appreciate it. Did you ever have any type of experience or encounter you felt was a direct experience with God, and do you attribute it to something different now? I definitely had experiences where I thought like God was speaking to me, or, God had sort of arranged circumstances in a certain way. And yeah, I do look at those experiences differently now. Oh no. Move says, funny story. I had to break it to my stepdad the other day that men don't have one less rib than women. It perplexed him greatly because he went his whole life. Oh my gosh. Yeah, men and women have the same number of ribs. Same number. Same number of ribs. Joshua, you've already been asked not to talk about yoga in here. Actually, you can double check, Chris. Like you can physically count your ribs. Gotcha. Yep. Hello. Um, I have an FAQ playlist that um, gives you that whole backstory. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, Lloyd, I actually have nothing against yoga. Joshua was just being weird about it the other day. Jesus does miracles every day, 24/7. I think we would see more of them then. Hello. What's an FAQ playlist? FAQ stands for frequently asked questions. And so if you go like, this is just my live, but if you actually click on me, go to my page, most YouTube pages have like different playlists that you can click on and follow. Yeah, you bet. Captain says, never seen a miracle, but I've seen my mother trying really hard to exaggerate things into miracles. Yeah, you'd think the world would be a better place if Jesus was so active. I hope you are too, Michelle. What are your thoughts on psychic mediums? Yeah, I mean, I just don't have any evidence that we exist after we die. Um, if someone uses a psychic medium and it genuinely brings them a comfort, I'm certainly not going to shit on that. Hmm. Move says, isn't it odd how Christian nationalists talk about the nuclear family with a mother and father so much, but like, where is the mother in the deity concept? God, Father, Holy Spirit, Mother, Asherah? Yeah, I think it's very telling that it's okay for God to essentially have a gender. and only one gender is represented in the deity. Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, no cakewalk says, what was the moment like when your belief stopped? For me, I checked one day, my belief was just gone. Yeah, I mean, it's like it disappears. Like it I keep thinking of the word disapparate. I'm like, no, that's a Harry Potter word. Like dissolves. Um, yeah, but it was definitely not a choice. Emily says, my mom calls banal coincidences a God thing. Like he cares that my uncle's assisted living was close to his favorite pizza spot, but not about kids dying in Gaza. Yeah. That reminds me of when I was a middle schooler. I used to read the Christy Miller series, and that happened a lot. It was a God thing. Hello from New York. Did you leave religion or are you like atheist? I am like atheist. I consider myself an agnostic atheist. It's good, Beach. You guys are okay if I use Harry Potter words. I definitely am showing my millennialness. You seem to be pretty impatient with presuppositional apologetics. Can you explain why? Oh, I just find it so frustrating and boring. Like, I don't like wordsmithing for the sake of wordsmithing. And it feels like we're dancing around talking about the thing instead of actually just talking about the thing. Um, I don't know. Like every time I have had a conversation with someone who's using these philosophy arguments, it always ends up in frustration for them because they're so used to people granting their initial arguments and they're ready for the end of it. And I don't grant them their initial argument. And they're mad because they can't understand why I wouldn't grant them this. And I can't understand why they can't understand why I wouldn't grant them this. And the whole conversation falls apart. And it just drives me crazy. It's I don't know. It is just a very not enjoyable conversation to me. Yeah, let's just say I'm correct and go from there. Right? Oh, Noah says, I had so much fun listening to you crash out on chewed gum the other night. Lux crashed out on Andrew from New Jersey after you left. Oh, yeah. I, on a different show, talked to Andrew briefly. And at first, like, I got him to kind of realize that we had some things in common and we weren't evil. And then he took a huge left turn. I was like, oh, God, never mind. I can't handle you. Thanks, Brent. Yeah. Did you ever read The Helper by Catherine Marshall? I didn't. No. Beach says, if you want to drive an atheist crazy, just bring up precept apologetics. Because it's like the whole argument is, imagine if I were correct. Okay, let's go from there, as an earlier commenter said. You know, like it's like okay, if the world were this way, it would make sense to me. Well, cool, but you can't prove the world is that way. I don't know. It just, blah. Brent says Sarah's crash outs are the best crash outs. I really try not to, but yeah. Well, on the line that we're talking about, I was on the show Chewed Gum, and it really bothers me when I can tell that the reason someone's not listening to me is they assume that I'm too stupid to understand what they said. Like, oh, you disagree with me? You must be too stupid to understand. And like, oh, that grinds my gears. Thanks. Have a good night. They involve hilarious faces and long silences. uh, Rob says, I'm not sure how foundational Christianity is because that God is not old enough. To be the real God, surely it would have to have been the first God. Well, Christians get through that by saying actually Christianity started with Adam and Eve at the beginning of time. Hi, Ace. Welcome. Who has a worse hell, Christianity or Islam? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that much about Islamic hell. I think it's sort of similar. Um, okay, I'm glad we all saw the same thing. Yeah, Flame, I agree. I mean, the God in the Bible's love is definitely conditional. Yeah, no kidding, Captain. Do you think you can be gay and Christian? I do, yes. I don't know if my opinion matters in that question, but I do. Is there an objective way of cultivating a value hierarchy? I really don't mean to sound pedantic here, but it depends on what you mean by objective. So I think values are things that are internal to us. And so in that sense, it's not going to be objective. But we could certainly use our empathy to understand how our actions affect other people. And we can objectively measure harm. So, I mean, I think the short answer is yes, it's going to be relative, but it's not just like vibes, I guess. What do you think about the concept of spiritual warfare? I was warned about it a lot when I was a Christian, but I don't think I ever felt it. So when I was a Christian, I was very into spiritual warfare. I think it made everything feel more real. You know, it was like evidence that God was really real and stuff was really happening. It made you feel important too, you know. I also think that it is very It makes you very vulnerable to abuse from other human beings. Um, it puts you in a really vulnerable spot. And so I I would use a lot of caution. Yeah, I do too, Captain. Oh, well, John, it's been almost a year. Well, see, the Bible doesn't really talk about like consensual, loving gay relationships. So I don't know. I would say it's complicated. Do you think feelings of harm and joy are objectively real? Well, yeah. I mean, we really experience them. It's funny, Christopher. It's been a long time since someone's called me Jezebel. Um, would you elaborate more on spiritual warfare? Sure. Which part of it? Does the Bible talk about consensual, loving, straight relationships? Sometimes. It talks a lot about like marriages of power and property. It sort of a little bit, maybe in like Ephesians, but not a ton. I don't know if I deconvert anybody, Brent. So can't objective morals be based on that? On what? I don't have any numbers for that, Brent. Do I support the outcome of what? What is the warfare part about? Are you asking, do you mean like you've never heard of spiritual warfare? And like you want me to explain the basics? Just feelings. I mean, spiritual warfare is looking at the world through the lens of there's battles going on around you all the time. And it's like demons and angels and God and Satan are fighting things all the time. And that your prayers and your actions make you like a warrior in the fight. What was your toughest battle with leaving Christianity? I mean, I think losing that part of my identity was really hard, and losing my community. Is the life-bringing process too harsh? You mean childbirth? Oh, got it. Oh, it's a new term to you. Yeah. So if you believe in spiritual warfare, like you would see, like if you would just wake up in the morning and you start your day, you're certainly going to start your day praying to God. And then you are going to drive to work and someone is going to run a red light, and you're going to pray in your head just as they do that over them, because you don't know what's going on in their life and they may be really dealing with something, and you're going to pray Jesus's protection over them. And then you're going to get to work, and there's going to be some conflict at work, and you're going to think that demons are actually trying to distract you from your mission that God's giving you, and you're going to pray against the demons forces in Jesus name. And you're going to pray to God to show you how to witness to someone today. Like, that's what your whole day is. It surrounds you all the time in everything that you do. Yeah, it's an interesting way to go through life. Hey, Lord. Oh, traveling mercies. Vaguely, yes. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Put on your spiritual armor. Man, I have been with people where we literally prayed that. Yeah. Captain says, imagine God didn't protect your child from disease because you forgot to pray for it or didn't pray hard enough. I mean, the entire idea of praying for God to do a thing really just doesn't make sense. Even though it's biblical. I mean, there are times in the Bible people prayed for things and then God changes his mind and does a thing. So I get it. I mean, I get why Christians would do it, but it's super illogical. How did it feel to leave that spiritual world behind? Did it affect your life in a positive way? Yes, but it was hard. Um, I lived in a way that I thought, sure, like I go to work and stuff, but like none of that really matters. This spiritual battle is what really matters. And so when I stopped believing it and kind of took those glasses off, I realized all the things I had been neglecting, and saw the world how other people saw it. And if I wasn't doing that great at my job, if I hadn't really been investing in my friendships, that was hard. Eventually, though, my life is much better for it. Oh yeah, no, Doug, spiritual warfare is a whole thing. Oh my gosh. Beach says, my brother got all tatted up with the scripture for all the parts of the armor of God and then became an atheist. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. Why would it be hard to leave if it doesn't exist? It means your whole world is turned upside down. It means you lose your community. Um, it means you lose part of your identity. Oh, interesting. Did you find community after you left? Yeah, I did. I did not play the organ in front of a window. So if it's your identity, then we can say that it exists? No. No. Your identity is how you see yourself in the world. Oh, that's really funny, Michelle. I almost got like a Jesus fish tattoo in college, but I didn't get it. Are you an atheist? Yeah, I consider myself an agnostic atheist, but yeah. That's interesting, Seal. Yeah, I could have added feet. I remember when people had those on their cars. Like they had the Jesus fish on their cars, and then later the footed ones. Michael, my FAQ playlist, I have a video that explains all of that. Well, listen, friends, it is about that time for me to call it a night. Thank you so much for a lovely conversation. This was a really nice time. Justin and I just recorded another episode tonight, so as soon as he edits it, we will put it up. So new episode coming. Um, Bip, did you even ask me a question? I didn't see it. Yes, new episode coming, and then Saturday night I will have I'll have guests on my TikTok. So if you like to do the guest talking, interacting thing, that's Saturday night on my TikTok. So have a wonderful night. Thanks again for a good convo.